Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. The song sung by Naren, we were discussing from jnana point of view, we have seen various things. Swamiji's, Vivekananda's, various aspects of existence, his actions, his spiritual practices. And it's a short period of 4 years, 9 months with Guru, and Sri Ramakrishna departs within this as a raw, westernized person with all trends of Western, but not yielded to anything philosophical. Western philosophy has read, but Indian none of the philosophies he knows. With that, but sharp intellect and a compassionate heart. With that he comes from the western door, he enters to Sri Ramakrishna's room. And from the beginning of cultivating faith to the ultimate goal of realization of all aspects of God, not one or two, to transcend our own limitations, small perfections to gain, to give up small habits. Sometimes life goes off. We have heard many things, but nothing comes to hand. The goal we have to reach is within us. The path to go also within us. The guide who is supposed to guide us is also within us. God is the goal, God is the path, God is the guide. No one else can guide us. The Jivatarana Shakti of the Ishvara manifests sometime through a physical guru outside. But every soul ultimately has to surrender to the nature, surrender to God. And we need not turn outside or depend on anything. If we have the capacity to turn inward, have that tremendous faith, God is my guide, unfailing guide. All other gurus and supports, all other paths may fail, but never the God. You can trust more than 100%. Any figure, but not external supports. External, I have to go inward. The path is inward. Nobody can lead me within. Nobody can come inside me. Inside is already, He is there, Lord of the universe, as the Antaryami, the indweller. And the whole external thing belongs to nature. Body belongs to nature. Mind, senses, intellect, all belong to nature, pervaded by nature, controlled by nature, maintained by nature. And it passes through the cycle. It comes from the earth, goes back to the earth. All dissolve back. With realization, subtle and causal body also dissolves off. In transmigration from one body to another body, the Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira, the gross body will fall off at the time of death. Subtle body and causal body continues to go. The software and the memory data will continue to go, is downloaded in the next hardware. From this to that, it is transferred. But with realization, the software and the database, that is hard disk, also get destroyed. Nothing remains. Only the pure Chaitanya, the spiritual existence, enters into the spiritual world. The part becomes the whole, reaching the whole. So, we have to go inward. The more and more, the inner silence, the moment till you find the inner silence and inner stillness, you have not reached any state. In the first layer of your existence, let alone other layers. Just the moment Annamaya you have crossed, physical body. From Pranamaya you go to Manomaya. You enter into your own mind, that's all. The moment you enter into mind from the body level, the inner stillness, absolute stillness, like sleep. But you will be fully awake. You can search for the next part. Where am I to go? Where did I come? What is this place? Oh, I am in mind. The expansive mind. I become so light. No gravity of body, no gravity of mind. Senses do not. Silently observing within. What next? Where to go? Senses cannot perceive anything. It is like you have come out in a deafening silence. In Himalayas, if you see, on the ice blocks in the top of the hills, when you enter the range, like we went to Kailas Manasarovar, dead silence at night, if there is no wind. Nothing, no senses work, no smell, no sound. Night, when it's pitch dark, even light won't be there. You can't see anything. All senses are closed. What is silence and stillness? Everything is still. Like that you enter. But there is absence of joy, external. Here, excessive joy and freedom. When you enter into just mind, your own mind you enter, Manomaya, there is absolute silence and stillness. A stillness and silence in which you are there and the silence and stillness is radiating peace, joy and bliss. And what is the content of that silence? What is the content of that peace, inner peace? That is the search. You are entering into the silence. Vijnanamaya Kosha is entering into that silence, entering into that stillness, where you will enter into Chidakasha, the space of consciousness. This is Mahakasha, where there is physical light. Mind, when you enter into Manomaya Kosha, the light of intellect alone is there, intellectual light. You are intellect with sense organs, mind and intellect. You identify with that mind. Mind has no dimension. So it becomes vast. Body awareness, as long as it is there, when you sit for meditation, mind is up to the edge of your skin. If anybody does here, you will not feel anything. If anybody touches here, even if your eyes are closed, you will know. So your mind is up to here. Mind is not here. But when you enter into Manomaya Kosha, it is not so. There is no dimension. Mind limitation is not there. Body limitation is not there. Mind becomes expansive. Waves come and go. You cannot judge the far and near, here and there. Relativity drops off. Stillness is experienced because of the dropping of relativity. Time and space become silent. We had to sometime discuss the silence, solitude. What is solitude? So here we see Naren asking to take the name of God. Name of God. Nama Smarana. Nama Namni Abheda. When we enter into the higher levels of consciousness, we understand the Nama and Namni, there is no Bheda. When we view a table, the word table and the object table are not same. Here we will not experience Nama Namni same. But when you enter into the spiritual world, when we enter into the reality, Nama Namni becomes one and the same, Abheda. Because the name of God, when you utter there in the spiritual world, transcending the mind, after you transcend the mind, after you enter into Vijnanamaya Kosha, after that, the utterance, name of God, is manifestation of the Absolute. Chaitanya is taking the form of the mantra. It is from the transcendental, something is entering into us to take us back to the source. Here, name and Nama Namni, Veda is there. If you write Rama on a paper, table on a paper and burn it, the table will not get burnt. There if you tamper anything, it affects God. God takes the... Actually, it is a revelation. Nama is coming, that's why I am telling this. When the realization takes place, when you enter into Vijnanamaya Kosha and go deeper after a few visits, this is actually Savikalpa Samadhi. After you enter into the Savikalpa Samadhi and start going a few times inside, it takes months together for the second visit, third visit. Frequency goes on decreasing very rarely. Many people, most of the people die without having spiritual experience. They live in the lower three centers of consciousness. Sleep, enjoyment and clinging to life. Only three. The awareness of divine doesn't come. To enter into any spiritual state, you need unbroken thought of God flowing within you. And hand and body will be working freely in the world, absolutely fearless, joyful, and an offering to God. You are everywhere, you are with all, but untouched. You are fully insulated from external world, that nothing affects you. You are moving about, nothing happens. Because the inside awareness is different, and there is a constant flow of the divine, unbroken thought of God. What we hold on to, something like japa, unceasing prayer. Go on praying, or do japa. And hold on to, and scriptures, Leela Chintan, whatever is Ishtadevata, whether it is Ganesha or Shiva or Rama or Krishna or Christ or anything, whatever it is, when you have an Ishtadevata, there is a Leela behind. That Leela Chintan makes you unbroken thought of God. Then only you will get a link to enter. The inner channels connecting to divine should never break, whatever, wherever you are. Even when they operate you, give anesthesia to you, the inner awareness must continue. Many sadhus you see in Belur Math and all, they may be in coma state also the rest of their life. Inside they are free. In this divine awareness they remain, not in the worldly awareness. Our Eknath Maharaj of Maharashtra saints, Eknath, he will be traveling with his disciples somewhere. Suddenly he stops in a place and says, here some great saint has died. Nobody has cremated him. They have thrown away his bones. You see here, pick up the bones and we'll cremate that. Then disciple will say, how to find out whose bone is what? Then Eknath Maharaj says, you take one bone and listen, keep near your eyes, it will be repeating, Vittal, Vittal. It goes to the, because whatever you are there in every cell. One cell of yours we can clone and the same person is going to come out. The whole biodata and the blueprint of your existence is there in every cell. That's why nature to change is very difficult. We cannot change the nature of a person because it pervades every cell of his body, from bone to. And because he is uttering Vittal, every cell will be uttering Vittal. That same trend will be there. And if you clone one of the cells, another person, same person with the same nature comes and he will be uttering the same. No new mantra is to be given. This is called DNA. RNA, DNA. It continues. Then somebody asks and one bone is uttering some sandesh sweet. Another masala dosa. They will throw away. Vittal, they assemble. Somebody is repeating child's name, somebody is repeating wife's name, and all that. And then you see, and then they collect it. Means the name, how far it goes, gets associated I was in Belur Math training center, a beautiful incident. Nirvanandaji Maharaj was there, whom Brahmanandaji Maharaj blesses that he will be Brahmagyani in this very life because of the services he rendered to the Brahmanandaji. Brahmanandaji was so pleased with Nirvanandaji that he blesses him for his services, that he will become Brahmagyani in this very life. Vajnanandaji used to tell us, wherever you see old sadhus, serve them, serve them. You will get lot of information. You get lot of their sadhana secrets, how they transcended, how they lived, how they overcame all their limitations, shortcomings, how they corrected, how they could transcend their own nature. The secrets you get. And the services rendered to the old sadhus is equal to God, and it may not give you punya phala, but it will give you spiritual evolution. Spiritual elevation, what you call the steps which move up, escalator. It will escalate you to higher levels. So this is Brahman. And I saw him one day. One person comes and gives one japamala. Maharaj used not to keep any record for initiation. In Math and Mission there is record of whoever takes the initiation. Every form will be filled up. Every formality will be there. With Nirvanandaji, he never entertained. He was not in a state to give initiation. Some people will be coming to Bodo. Suddenly he sees a person, Yogya Adhara, just utters the mantra and says, you will realize God. Be repeating this mantra, you will realize God. He is ripe enough to get that blessing. So one supposed to be disciple, because no record, he comes to Maharaj and gives one japamala and says, please sanctify this and give. Maharaj calls the sevak, gets the Ganga Chala, puts on himself, puts on the japamala, puts on that person, and sits and start counting the beads. He goes 5 or 6 beads, again begins. Some beads he goes, again begins. Again begins. He doesn't complete the japamala. Then finally he gives it back and says, some other mantra is coming from this, somebody has used for a long time. Put it in the Ganga, buy new one. And we were surprised. If matter is going to get associated with the name that we utter, God's name, Japamala acts as flywheel. In engine, flywheel will be there. When it is running free, it acquires the energy. And when tool is applied, it gives back the energy. In lathe and all, huge, flywheel will be there. Otherwise, when you apply the tool, engine will stop. Here it is not there. So, whenever your mind tries to go away, it gives an impetus. When your mind wants to stop, it gives an impetus to continue, to maintain that awareness. If you are feeling, if you are experiencing living presence of God, the Japamala will make you. You must do the japa with great love. if you are feeling the living presence of God and doing japa, and this japamala will make you to continue that awareness. It works as flywheel. Means what happens to a man who utters the name of God all the time? What happens to his heart? What happens to his existence? What happens to his karmic load? On every karma, the name of God will be there. You might have done good or bad. Once on karma, if the name of God is there, good karma or bad karma, sukha or dukkha comes, it will take you to God. Dukkha can take you to God. Sukha can take you to God. It becomes a spiritual wealth. So this is what Swamiji, don't forget to repeat the name of God. That when a person enters into Vijnanamaya Kosha, and then a few visits after, he enters into a deeper layer of existence there, more light of consciousness. There is no this light. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarake. That tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. There sunlight and moonlight and electrical light won't be there. There it is a light of consciousness, Chaitanya. So there when you enter, God, the Chaitanya, it is space of Chaitanya, spiritual realm. The spirit condenses into a form of your liking, your Ishtadevata form. Whatever is your Ishtadevata. And that form you will be visualizing. You have only intellect to understand and senses to perceive. But senses have no instrument to work. Software is there, no hardware. And that longing to see, longing to interact, intellect understands God has manifested. It is charged with consciousness, Chaitanya. Though it belongs to nature, Panchajnanindriya, Panchakarmendriya, Panchaprana, Buddhi Manas belongs to Prakriti. Buddhi belongs to Prakriti. Yet, when you enter into Samadhi, it gets charged with like a iron ball. When heated, red hot, it has lost all the property of iron and become the fire. Fire. Like that, this is like it has lost all the property of Buddhi and become the Chaitanya itself. To understand, God has manifested. Longing to meet, longing to see, manifests a body, just like you have a body in dream world, dream body, you will have a Prema Sharira. With that, you will experience God. You see the form. Various form He reveals now and then. You want to see me when I was really Krishna, how I looked like. When I was Rama, how I looked like. Various forms He reveals. Then finally, He will take you to the formless aspect as both their forms dissolve into Ekarasa. And then when the Jiva appears again before the Lord, He says, I have given you all that you should know. You are free from nature forever. You don't have sukha, you don't have dukkha. You are in the Ananda Swarupa. Sukha dukkha belongs to the world and bodily existence. This is Ananda Sagara. So he says, but you cannot give anything I have given to you to anybody. Now I will take the form of mantra which you can give to others. And He appears as mantra, revelation. It is in the form of knowledge, jnana. Jnana becomes always one with the Chaitanya. Satchidananda is expressed as existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, existence, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, bliss, absolute. Or Sat, Chit, Ananda, consciousness, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Both are correct. In place of consciousness, you can put knowledge. Knowledge and consciousness are one. As when the knowledge of the Spirit comes into picture, the supreme knowledge of the Atman, of the Brahman, God, is one with God. Here we will slowly come to understand Nama Namni Abheda means what? Here God has taken the form of a mantra. When the Guru gives the mantra to the Shishya, it is not words. When I say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Namah Shivaya, it is only words. But when Guru, a realized Guru, gives the mantra, it is power and consciousness associated with the word in the form of word. Word is only a carrier. There is power and this, because the soul is not yet ready, the words go to memory and its mantra power and mantra shakti enters into karmashaya, the place where karmas goes and gets stored. One of the storehouses in us, which goes with the body after leaving the body. It's karmashaya, in the karmashaya. And when the person goes on repeating the mantra with great love, calmly, one day the mantra gets associated with his Chaitanya, which is there, gets associated, and mantra becomes mantra Chaitanya. It becomes a conscious entity and power. When you utter it, God has to stand there. When Meera says Krishna, he is bound to come there because it has power, it is consciousness. When we say Krishna, nobody comes. Even the real boy Krishna also will run away. Our servant Krishna also will not be there. But when she says Krishna, real Krishna will come and stand because it is real, word is real. So there we see Nama Namni Abheda. In spiritual realm, in spiritual world, Nama and Namni Abheda. Name of God and God are one. Here it is not so, not in the relative existence, in the transcendental existence. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.